ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Three Rivers Broadcasting. It's time for the Sports Report. I'm Alex.
I'm Andrew.
Great to be with you once again. We've got quite a bit going on in the world of Pittsburgh sports.
We've got to talk about.
We've got some hockey drama. Hockey drama we're going to talk about. We want to get into that a little later in the show, but we're going to talk about the Super Bowl to kick things off. How's your week been so far?
Not too bad. We're getting kind of towards the tail end of our basketball season, so I'm kind of excited for how we did this year with a young group, and kind of getting excited for the season coming to an end and having some life to myself again.
Well, for a little while at least, right?
Until we get in the postseason
and
junior high and all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's going pretty good. How about you?
Good. Listen, we're moving along. Keeping busy, covering a bunch of games. We're out at Franciscan. Did the latest this week Franciscan basketball. Got to cut those files up so we can put that together. Good interview with Coach Wallace. Next week we're gonna have all the seniors from Franciscan.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of great feedback on the show, so I'm really kind of hyped up about what we're doing with Franciscan. I think it's a great relationship, and I only see this relationship growing and helping us propel, Franciscan men's basketball to the next level.
Yeah, I'm very happy with what the work we've done. Listen, this is the guy over here that makes it all happen.
I try my best.
He makes the magic happen here. I go shoot some things and mess around with some lighting at the restaurant. He's the one who makes the magic happen. No, it was a great show. We're gonna have all the seniors again with us next week. That should be fun. And I believe the week after that, we're going to have Josh Zimmerman, who's a Steubenville native, sit down with Coach and myself over there at the Bennigans. Again, we want to thank Franco. Got to meet Franco yesterday, who's kind of funding the whole thing with them, so that's great. He owns the Bennigans there, and I guess they own his family's company owns that Franciscan Square.
Okay,
and they also own the bagel shop across the street. So maybe we got to give a plug for New York Bagels in Steubenville, Ohio. So they got the. Have you ever had Ruby's Pizza?
I've heard of it, but I don't know if I've ever had it.
So Ruby's is in that. Well, while we're on it, Andy's also a pizza connoisseur here.
I am. Yeah, I guess you could say I'm an amateur pizza connoisseur. So.
He's Pittsburgh's Portnoy.
Yeah, maybe, probably more so my brother, but I'm involved in that. Yeah.
So there's a place called Ruby's there, and maybe a little free plug for them, but that's fine. There's a place called Ruby's in Steubenville. They have a place. Their first place was in Parkersburg.
Okay.
And it's owned by two brothers from Mexico who trained in Italy. And they make a very good pie, good food. I've eaten there before in my pizza eating days, and I would strongly suggest it. If you're ever
looking it up now,
if you're ever in Steubenville, take
RUBI.
Yes, they make a pretty decent pie.
Looks like a legit pizzeria.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a pretty good spot. But yeah, that's all in that little Franciscan Square. So if you're ever out there, check out Bennigan's in Steubenville as well. That's one of their restaurants.
What's the tagline? I remember doing it with the commercial. The Irish hospitality, they love to serve.
They love to serve, yes. Yeah.
Which
good.
I like. I mean,
it's a real cool place, real nice. They got, it's a good sports bar. And Franco's got some cool things going on with the basketball program, too. He offered up to the kids as a challenge to kind of show up to the game tonight. Well, if you're watching it, this is pre-recorded because we have Franciscan basketball on at 8:00. But coming to the game here for Wednesday, I guess they have kind of like houses on campus. Like I don't think they have fraternities, but they're like the religious houses or whatever.
I think they have like St. Anthony.
So whatever house has the best official attendance, he's buying them a pizza party from Ruby's.
Oh, very cool.
So that's pretty cool that they're doing that now. And they had a good crowd last time. They said they had about 300 students show up. Good. So they're starting to build a student section. The next thing they want to do is try to get the community more involved up there. And they've got a program that I think these young kids. And you'll see it on this week's show. Coach was saying some of these freshmen and sophomores are starting to figure out how to win at the college level.
Well, they're
now.
5-8 in the conference going into the game we're talking about. Not bad at all. They've been 5-5 at home. Struggled on the road a little bit, but it's very difficult to win college basketball games on the road. With a young team. But I think they've kind of been hitting their stride a little bit. They had the last game they only lost to Geneva by 6. I think it was 99-93, high scoring.
Yeah, very high scoring game.
And then they have Geneva again. So tonight. So it's going to be maybe a redemption day at home this time. It's a little bit easier. They know what they got in Geneva, and they're kind of developing some nice rivalries now in the Pac.
It was a good move
because they moved over from the AMCC.
Yeah, and I think they're excited about the addition of Allegheny coming back to the Pac too. It really cuts down on a lot of the travel. And the expanded conference will be good for them going forward. So there's, again, our plug to Franciscan, passionately Catholic, great education. One of our fine partner schools here now. We've had Mother of Mercy Academy, and I assume we'll sit down with Donnie this year come enrollment time once again. And that leaves Diocese of Pittsburgh out there, a high school. Let's close the gap here, folks.
I was at Walsh last night, and not a Diocese of Pittsburgh high school, but a Catholic high school.
One of the best
ones in our area.
Great one, yeah.
So I would love to talk to some people, the Felician sisters over at Walsh. Having a great season on the boys and girls front with basketball, good football season this past year, and have remained, faithfully Catholic. So another really solid Catholic institute of secondary education here in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, I know the Felician sisters pretty well. They staffed a lot of the schools and parishes in Jersey, and they at Felician University over there and up in Rutherford. It's a D2 school. They got a pretty good basketball team up there. But let's get into the show here.
Sure.
I know the tagline, in sports, sometimes we talk about other things and we do whatever it is we do, and you hit the buzzer.
Yeah, hit the buzzer.
Because
then it's over.
We've run out of time, but we've got sound effects now.
Yeah, our show just keeps getting better and better. Now we have sound effects.
So let's get in there. All right, Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. The Rams get a home game against the Bengals.
I think it's it happened last year too.
It
right?
did. Yeah, Tampa got a home game.
Right.
Yep. So, surprising the teams that made it there this year. I don't know. Do you think it might have been a little surprising?
Not with, obviously. I don't think with the Rams. I think they went all in this year. New stadium, hosting the Super Bowl, have a elite level player with Aaron Donald. Made the trade. Or whatever you want to say, how they picked up Matt Stafford. So, I think they were all in. I'm not surprised with the Rams at all. Obviously, I think everybody's a little bit surprised with the Bengals not just winning the AFC North this year. I think everybody knew Burrow could play, but didn't expect them to make the run that they made, particularly going through Kansas City.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it on the show. I think Burrow is here to stay for a long time. He's going to be a thorn in the Steelers' side. And, the Bengals, I think.
Trending in the right direction.
Yeah, this is, they have made the moves. They've tanked in the right ways to get the right players. And I think they're going to be around the state. I only think they're going to get better.
I do. I agree.
There's spots on their roster, particularly I think their offensive line can get a little bit better. But they're going to improve those spots. And, they have playmakers. They have one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I think their coach has been doing a really good job. So I think it should be an exciting Super Bowl. I'm not rooting for the Bengals. Obviously, they're AFC North rival. I do like Joe Burrow just from the kind of reminds me of like a Johnny Unitas type guy or Broadway Joe or something like that. It kind of has that swagger to him, which I like.
The personality.
Yeah, I like the personality, but I'm really rooting for Aaron Donald, Pittsburgh kid. Went to Penn Hills High School, kind of, flew under the radar, had a great couple of years at the University of Pittsburgh, but still, really nobody expected him to be the type of pro that he's turned out to be. And that's kind of what I'd like to see is Aaron Donald get a Super Bowl. And I'd like to see Matt Stafford get a Super Bowl because I always thought he was a very good player.
Me too.
In Detroit. And, all the talking heads would talk. I'm like, who did he have to throw to outside of the Megatron? He was, he's under being assaulted every single game.
Yeah,
very much. I would like to see him get a Super Bowl.
Very much right guy, wrong team kind of player. Right. Yeah, I hope that he can get one, and it would be a great story for Pittsburgh too, like you said, if Aaron Donald could bring one home.
Well, another Pittsburgh kid playing in the Super Bowl. Do you know who the other one is?
There's two of them.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has the other one.
Yep.
Huh. Let me look. Oh, is Oh, geez. Boyd.
Yep, Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
Those are the two
Whippeal
guys in the in the Super Bowl.
No, you're going to be blanking on that one.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I've been watching him all year. Now I'm like, oh, yeah, who the hell's playing? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Boyd, yeah.
Yeah, so that's two WPIAL players.
That's funny, yeah. A couple weeks ago, I watched it. He had a
two
great
WPIAL
catch.
players and two Pitt Panthers.
Panthers, yeah.
So, once again, and shout out to Coach Narduzzi for this past year, but, this whole crap that, Pitt needs a stadium and all that. Okay, you got two guys playing in the Super Bowl this year at starters. One a former back-to-back defensive player of the year, one of the best, Boyd being one of the best in his position at receiver. I think he plays that kind of third-tier receiver, one of the best guys in the league at doing that. Mm-hmm. Pitt should be, having a commercial on during the Super Bowl saying,
these are our guys.
These are our guys, right? Come play for Pitt.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
That's right. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's and I don't know what the NCAA rules about that are, but yeah, why not shoot a commercial with those two guys that say like, "Hi, I'm Tyler Boyd. I'm Aaron Donald, and we went to the University of Pittsburgh." That's all you have to say. And all those high school kids will see that, and there's your opportunity. Yep. At Cincinnati, credit to them, won a tight one against Vegas at home, and then went on the road, beat Tennessee, beat Kansas City in a wild one. I think, too, the wild card round aside, because there were really only, in my opinion, two good games in the wild card round. San Francisco, Dallas was exciting, so was Cincinnati. The others were all blowouts. That wild card round is the money week for the NFL now, where it's, okay, we take whatever 16 teams in, and, it's becoming watered down. But from the divisional, like that second round on, this has been one of the best playoff years.
Yeah, it's been
in a long time. Yeah, it's been very entertaining. All the games are,
outside
within
of the
one score.
Steeler-Kansas City game.
Oh, well. That was entertaining for the first, 18 minutes.
Yeah, that's about it.
It was good for the first quarter and a half, and then it went sideways. But, we've beat that horse to death about the about the Steelers. And came up this morning that I guess they've got some mock drafts changing with the Steelers. They're saying now they may look at a guy, Trevor Penning, and the Fan had this on their morning show. He's a tackle from the University of Northern Iowa.
I did see that. Now, I think he led Division I football in penalties this year. So
he may be
15, 16 penalties. Well, I don't, I like the aggression, but you don't need 15-yard personal foul penalties
left and right
when you have trouble moving the ball down the field to begin with. So you don't need a hothead.
No, you need to calm the guy down.
And the other dynamic is, okay, he's looking really good here. He went to Northern Iowa, right? So I mean, okay, how do you do in the Senior Bowl? I think obviously that's really important, but. You're not going. He's not a guy coming out of Arkansas or Alabama or
how tested is he?
How tested is he against really good competition? And that's really, I keep saying that Steelers always try to be the smartest guy in the room, and then they turn out looking like morons. You have to go sometimes with players that I think are almost guaranteed locks to be really good at their position, and not try to say, well, I hope we knock it out of the park with this guy. Well. Okay, I hope you do too. But if it doesn't work out, now you have another Artie Burns on your hands, and you don't need that.
No, and there are always exceptions. Was Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois? There's guys who fall through the cracks. But for me, if I'm going to look at a lineman, unless they think wholeheartedly this is a guy who's fallen through the cracks, why wouldn't you just go take a kid from Alabama?
Yeah,
or Florida, or hell, Ohio State, Pitt, one of these major programs if they're out there. For me, that's, and a lot of times those guys from that next level down usually, they usually don't last, unfortunately. Right. I think a lot of those guys can be very good CFL players, but I think the NFL has more than ever over the last 20 years become a Power 5 league.
Yeah.
There are guys who will get taken from Troy or Louisiana Monroe or whatever that are Division I, FBS schools. But I think by and large, the top, your top players, they're the same guys who are the top stars at SC and Alabama and places like that.
Yeah, I mean, getting back to the Super Bowl, because we got a little off track.
Yeah, we did.
But, Joe Burrow went to LSU. I believe he was when he transferred from Ohio State. So, there's a Aaron Donald went to Pitt. Pitt's Power 5. Your top players, by and large, are coming out of those programs. The team, I would say, the guys that you build a team around, are coming out of those Power 5 programs, and that's kind of where you want to be at. I think with the Steelers, you don't want, particularly, you want to nail that first round pick. Hey, I'm looking at the spread here, 4.5 right now
on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for the Rams. I could see that.
I could see it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would take a one-score game for sure. Yeah. I think it's going to be a tight one, and I think there could be some points too. I think you could see like some type of 30-27 field goal difference.
So the over/under total is 48.5 points.
So not far off with what I was thinking. Yeah, so maybe one extra score I'm cutting, but yeah, I could see that. I think it could be you should get into the 20s. You get a couple scores. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good game. 2 weeks off. I get it. They want everybody healthy coming in. I'm a fan personally of just play it out, go the next week. Yeah. But it gives them a week to hype and do all that.
Well, this is really the first time they've done this because it would have been last week. Speaking of which, today is my mother's birthday. So,
happy birthday.
Yeah, so I wanted to wish my mom a happy birthday on February 9th. I remember that today because I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure there was a couple Super Bowls that happened on February 9th.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be an exciting game. I think, I was laughing because they had all this stuff about they want to make all the people wear masks and stuff at the LA Stadium, and I think the tickets are $5,000.
Yeah, they're super expensive, and they didn't have to wear them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and everybody basically said on social media, I hope they have a lot of garbage cans, in the stadium because no one's paying $5,000 and wearing masks
to wear a mask. No, nobody's gonna, not for that kind of money. You're not getting that. I'm sorry.
Hey, before we take a quick break, why don't we thank one of our sponsors here? Polish Falcons of America. I know they've been fantastic for our polka coverage and our Catholic Mass coverage, kind of working hand in hand with also Franciscan University. But the Polka Drive at 5 has become one of my favorite shows here on Three Rivers. Yeah, my little son loves the Polka Drive at 5, and it's brought to you every day by the Polish Falcons of America. And I think a lot of people tune into this show because you like the sports coverage, but I kind of like how eclectic we are here at Three Rivers Broadcasting.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, we have something for everybody, and we have a lot of things that other stations just don't have. And we're becoming the kind of the front runner and the golden standard, in my opinion, of keeping that ethnic music. With great shows like the Polka Drive,
the Tamburitsa USA, or Mikey D. That's right, the D.
So the bad guy,
the bad boy.
People love it. I mean, our hit totals are through the roof. 800-900 people for an hour show for a little radio station
pretty nice.
In its first year. Yeah, we're doing really, really well. So if you want to continue to support what we're doing here at Three Rivers Broadcasting, you want to get in and have your name mentioned amongst great companies like the Polish Falcons of America, we ask you to contact us. You just go on our website and hit the contact form, say you're interested in advertising, or you can hit up Alex F. at threeriversbroadcasting.com. And then we're also going to we keep talking about the I-Beam Club, but Alex and I are looking at some ways to really make that just kind of a point and click, and you sign up for the I-Beam Club. We get your information.
We send you your prize.
We send you some gifts. Yeah,
yep, so gifts.
Look for that. We'll be releasing some more information on that soon. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right here on the Three Rivers Broadcasting Sports Report.
The Polish Falcons of America's new term life insurance plan is the perfect choice for young individuals and families looking to plan for tomorrow today. PFA Term Life can provide a substantial lump sum benefit in the event of a tragic loss, helping loved ones pay off a mortgage, credit cards, student loans, and cover funeral expenses. Learn more by calling 1-800-535-2071. That's 1-800-535-2071 or visiting polishfalcons.org. Bennigan's Restaurant, located at 185 Franciscan Square in Steubenville, Ohio, is your high-energy neighborhood tavern in the Upper Ohio Valley. Their warm and inviting design puts the focus on their chef-driven food, handcrafted cocktails, and of course, the Irish hospitality which they love to serve. Bennigan's of Steubenville has a fully stocked bar and offers a wide variety of traditional American and Irish fare. Bennigan's has always been a neighborhood favorite, not just for food and drink, but as a place to meet friends, chat, and kick back for a while. Bennigan's is open from 11:30 to 10 Sunday through Wednesday and 11:30 to 11 Thursday through Saturday. Visit their website at benniganssteubenville.com and stop in the next time you're passing by campus. Carnegie Ironworks is Pittsburgh's go-to for artistic, unique, and decorative steel and iron designs. We provide custom fencing, interior and exterior railings, outdoor fire pits, window coverings, and much more. If you can think of it, we can fabricate it. Find us on the web at www.carnegieiron.com. That's Carnegie Ironworks, for when you need it for 500 years. Are you an athlete looking to take your game and performance to the next level? Gym Rat Performance Training is where Pittsburgh's elite competitors go to train. We specialize in personal training, strength, speed, and agility training, sports-specific training, and we offer the best basketball player development in the City of Champions. If you are ready to transform your body, expand your mind, and reach your potential, it's time to join the Rat Pack at gymratpt.com. That's GYMRATPT.com. Gym Rat Performance Training, punishing Pittsburgh since 2016 because rats don't rest.
All right, we are back here at Three Rivers Broadcasting, the Three Rivers Broadcasting Sports Report, brought to you by our friends at the Polish Falcons of America and Waste Management. We're excited. We have some things in the works with Waste Management, hopefully doing some more. They really were really helpful for us for our football coverage this year.
They were
we're
great.
hoping to have a long-term relationship with Waste Management. So let's jump into, speaking of waste, I want to talk right about Brad Marchand and his antics yesterday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The game was already won. Gets into it with Christian Jarry. Jarry's trying to flick a puck into the stands to a young Penguins fan. He comes after him and knocks the puck out of the air. Then he, gets into it with Jarry, hits him in the head with a punch, tries to hit him in the head with a stick. It was too late in the game for the Penguins to retaliate. You really didn't have the personnel out there at that time to go after him because he got thrown off the ice. You're not going to go after their goalie because they had a backup goalie in. But if you're the Penguins, you chalk this up and you make sure the next time you're playing the Bruins, your biggest guy is coming after Marchand and he's going to get lit up. And that's really – I'm not a big person for fighting in the NHL, but when you pull crap like that,
yeah.
you have to pay for it.
Yeah, and it's the thing is for me with Marchand, I put it out on my Twitter that it's time. This guy has had run-ins and been a mouthpiece and has been suspended multiple times in his career already, and it's a shame because Brad Marchand, when he's not being, for lack of a better term, an asshole, is actually a very good hockey player.
Oh, he is a good hockey player. I would make the same argument for who's the winger in Washington that always gets into fights all the time. You would know who I'm talking about if I said. But there's a lot of guys on these teams that are very talented players, but because of their antics, they get away with this crap, and it kind of diminishes the type of player that they are. I'm talking about Tom Wilson.
Okay, yeah.
And, Tom Wilson, how many cheap shots and different dynamics that he's had over the years. And when you really look at him just as a hockey player, he's a good hockey player. Marchand, Very good hockey player. But there's no place in the league to do crap like that. If you want to hit guys hard, you want to play physical style hockey, go ahead.
Yeah.
But don't come after defenseless goaltenders and punch them in the head and then try to smack them with your stick. That crap doesn't fly anymore in the NHL. And really, it never flew in the old NHL because if you did that crap, you would have got annihilated.
Yeah.
So they just didn't have the personnel. You don't want Crosby.
You don't interrupt that.
You don't want Jake going after these guys. No. You don't want Letang going after these guys. And if you come off the bench, you're getting suspended. So
yeah, you need an enforcer in that situation.
Yes.
And to, again, Marchand, like, this isn't the Federal League. You want to do that, you can go play for the Federal League, like the good old movie there. It was a slap shot.
Yeah.
You can go fight in the Federal League all you want and punch people. But, and again, I think, like I said, the shame of this is that he's a good player. And I get part of his game is jawing off at people and trying to get under players' skin. And he kind of emulated his career. And he said this after what Theo Fleury used to do. When we were younger, how he was like 5'6", 5'7", and he would just kind of jaw at guys the whole game. But I don't remember Theo Fleury punching goaltenders in the head with 20 seconds to go in a game. And again, for me, Marchand, this isn't his first run in. At some point, the league has to say, like, 5 games isn't enough anymore. 10 games isn't enough anymore. At some point, third offense, fourth offense, or where you're hitting a defenseless goalie like that who's just covering the puck with 20 seconds to go, you have to lay the law down to a guy and say, season, or you're done.
This is from the Boston Globe for people that are not diehard Penguins fans, but this is a pretty good timeline of what me and you were talking about, so people can kind of stay with us. A petty exchange between Brad Marchand and Penguins goalie Tristan Jarry at the end of the second period on Tuesday night escalated into an altercation that could lead to larger consequences for Marchand. The Bruins were in a 3-2 hole, fending off the Penguins' attack as time ran down. Marchand flipped the puck on the other side of the ice. Jarry snagged it and appeared to offer to a fan on the other side of the glass. As Jarry was about to toss the puck over, Marchand swooped in and swatted his stick. Marchand and Jarry exchanged words on their way to the locker rooms, but it wasn't over. The Bruins were down 4-2 with less than a minute left when Marchand recovered a wrist shot by Craig Smith and tried to jam a shot attempt past Jarry, who made the stop and had some words from Marchand afterwards. Marchand charged in and punched Jarry. Then, after being restrained by an official, he jabbed Jarry in the helmet with his stick. The incidents earned Marchand a roughing penalty and a match penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. So that's what we're talking about. That's what happened the other day. And I thought the game was over. I was kind of watching it and then turned it off. I'm like, the Penguins got this one. And then you see this crap, and I'm like, okay, once again, here he is. And this is why, the Penguins fans, you have it queued up
on there, yep.
Penguins fans have these teams that they just don't like. The Flyers, the Bruins, Columbus. There's just certain teams that are instigating teams, and I'm sure those clubs probably feel like the Penguins do some of that type of stuff and have done it in the past as well. But that really hasn't been the Penguins' mantra the last couple of years. They don't really ruffle feathers and take cheap shots under Mike Sullivan. They just don't do it.
No, it's just not their game. It's not what they do. And I think that's great because hockey needed. I kind of miss the hard hitting, but there were some guys in hockey that needed to get cleaned out.
Penguins guy, Matt.
You know
what I'm talking about? He was a little guy. He used to light people up.
Yeah, light people up. Yeah, Marty McSorley was another one who came to mind. I mean, there's a guy whose career essentially ended in a lack of a better term, stupid manner, hitting a guy skating past him in the head with his stick. I mean, there's always been guys like that. And Marchand, he's put himself in that category now of instigator. And I know that they've offered him, the league has offered him some type of live hearing that this, try to explain to us why you decided to lose your mind and, stop the goalie from flipping a puck to a kid, and then why you decided to punch the guy in the head later in the game,
right? And
then smack him with your stick. Again, you gotta drop the hammer on a guy like this, and because it's not his first, and maybe they'll say we won't, they're not going to kick him out. I said, I think maybe
we got a booing side for Marchand here.
You can do a booing. There's got to be a boo.
New sound effects.
Let's see. We've got the. We've got the buzzer.
Yeah.
We could go with
I like that.
Price is Right.
Price is Right.
Price is Right.
That's what he gets.
That's what he gets.
Matt Cook.
We should
Do you
see.
remember Matt Cook?
Yes.
That's who I was
That's who it
thinking
was.
about.
Yeah. You know, we should get the old. This is like back, I guess, when our fathers were in college. The Gong Show was a big thing.
Yeah.
We should get the sound of like
Yeah.
when they kick the guy singing off the show or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dong.
The
Yeah.
big cane comes out and he pulls him off the
Yank
stage.
him. Yep. You got to give him the hook. Yeah.
But I mean, great start to the second half of the season.
On the ice, Penguins are playing fantastic
Yeah.
hockey. And from where they were at the beginning of the year, and we had some concerns because they were injured. They're just, I don't know what else you could say. They're starting to move up the standings, 28-11, play Ottawa and the Devils back-to-back, and then the Flyers. These are all winnable games. They can just keep clipping off points. So, they certainly have, a favorable, next week. And then, it'll be a little tougher with the Hurricanes and the Maple Leafs. But, listen, if they can carry some momentum into that trip to Toronto and then the home game with Carolina over the course of the next, 10 days, Penguins could be sitting pretty good.
Well, the other thing, I was talking to my buddy Josh about, big hockey fan, and, he said one thing that Ron Hextall, as a former goalie, is not going to tolerate is people messing with Jarry. So
No.
I'm going to be interested to see if at the trade deadline what the Penguins might do. And we've talked about this. There's really not a lot they need to do, but I really don't want to see Brian Russ go anywhere.
Me either.
But Brian Russ is going to get a pretty nice contract.
Yes.
He's going to get a pretty nice payday at the end of this season. So if somebody comes kicking the tires and says, hey, I really want Brian Rust, and you can trade him for something that you might need, maybe it's
it.
Yeah, maybe it's an enforcer forward, not an enforcer. Somebody has a little bit of skill that can play hockey, but also dish it out. You might want to. You might consider that if you're Ron Hextall and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I would strongly consider it.
Yeah.
Crosby also last night scored his 499th goal, so he's one away from joining Ovechkin as the only active players who are over 500. So, listen, the odds are pretty good he does it away from home with Ottawa and the Devils.
Yeah.
It probably won't be holding on until the home game with the Flyers, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in Ottawa. So, let's just offer a preemptive congratulations to him because by the time we film the next show, he's probably going to be at 500.
Greats.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. And again, like you said, Penguins are they're playing good hockey right now. They're getting a little healthier. Everything you want to see is starting to come together in the middle of the season. And now, it's about making sure they're healthy come, the end of March, April, getting into the stretch run. And if they can continue their kind of pace that they're at, they'll be a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely think they're a team that can make a run this year the way they're playing right now. Got to, just kind of stay the part. We've talked about it. I do think they have to have somebody that can clear the net out a little bit more. And, when the NHL officials decide to call the game completely different than they do during the regular season, you have to be able to adapt and play that style of hockey.
You do.
But, yeah, I mean, shout out to Coach Sullivan, the Penguins. They surprised a lot of people, and without a doubt, they're the best team in Pittsburgh right now. I think they've really are making this winter bearable and fun because we haven't had much to watch in terms of the Steelers doing anything.
No, they didn't
Pitt
provide
basketball
much.
doing anything. Robert Morris, you name it. I mean, we just haven't had a good sports winter here. So the Penguins are really keeping us engaged and entertained.
I think that the best team in town, as far as record might be concerned in men's basketball this winter at the scholarship level, is probably Point Park.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, obviously they're playing in the NAIA, but as far as consistency goes, they're doing okay. But yeah, listen, Duquesne's off. They've fallen off really hard. They're very young. So's Robert Morris. And Pitt just continues to pit. And unfortunately, I mean, did you see some of those the comments from the Pitt brass too about listen, they're sticking with Capel.
It's interesting.
That's pretty clear.
I was down at the game the other day against Virginia Tech, covering it for us.
And that went sideways in the return game.
Well, it was, they got themselves in a 27-point hole at halftime. And they dug out of it, but it was too late. Ended up losing 76-71.
Put themselves in the same hole the other night.
And then didn't get out of it.
And
got clobbered.
Yeah.
And really allowed Virginia Tech to do whatever they wanted, which was shoot the 3-ball. They did it really well against Pitt the first game, and you thought they would have made some adjustments defensively and tried to do their best to take it away from them, but they just teed off on them. It just 3-3-3-3, and before you know it, Pitt was in a hole and couldn't get out of it. So I keep saying this. People don't want to. People say it's never going to happen, this and that, and they're probably right. But if Pitt really wants to fix their basketball program, you hire. The man, you hire Sean Miller.
Sean Miller, yep.
And you take the ramifications with him. At the end of the day, they could say FBI this or investigation that. I haven't seen anybody get in trouble at all over all this stuff.
No.
Everybody just toots and hollers, and there's nothing that happens. And if I remember correctly, like Bruce Pearl got into a bunch of trouble, and he just got a lifetime contract at Auburn, and they just lost the other day to Arkansas, but they're one of the top 3 teams in the country.
There are coaches
There's another guy who I went to college, my last year of college at a small college you would know up in New Rochelle, New York, called Iona. And there's a guy coaching there right now.
I was going to say that.
Let me think. What's his name?
Rick something?
Pitino, yeah. Who got into a ton of trouble at Louisville with strippers and all kinds. He's coaching right now and having a pretty good season at Iona.
At a Catholic school, too.
Yeah, Catholic school. So if Pitt really wants to save their basketball program,
sometimes you got to do the deal with the devil.
Yeah, and who's also one of your alums.
Well, that's it. And to that point, you look at Miller. Yeah, there were a lot of accusations, but it didn't really. Again, you didn't really see a lot of people go down the.
Nope.
And the thing is a lot of what was accused about the money and things like that being sent back and forth with the change to the NLI, half of that is out the window now.
Yeah.
Where look at what happened. It was where Deion's coach was at Jackson State. I mean, Deion Sanders didn't just get guys to go to Jackson State.
Deion.
There's something, they're getting NLI money from somebody, auto deal or whatever. They're getting money down there. And listen, Iona made a decision too. It's like, listen, we want to maintain the program at an elite level. Pitino's a New York guy, and he's willing to take one more job at the D1 level. Let's hire him. What's the worst thing that happens? You end up on probation. You hire whoever hires Pitino probably gonna end up on probation anyway.
It's big business, and that's really.
Listen, if Iona makes the tournament, it's $1 million payday.
Exactly.
That's why you do it. And Pitt's got Florida State the day of filming here today on Wednesday. That's a 9:00 tip off. That's gonna be a tough one. And then NC State coming up after that is a home game. It's just going to be a tough run-in for them this year, and you hope that some of the guys that have been starting to emerge a little bit that are going to be returning next year can continue to grind, and they can maybe try to find a couple guys. If because Capel, I know they're giving him this this vote of confidence. They need to try to find some instant help, and if they can find through the transfer portal a couple of guys right away to at least get them competitive while they try to figure out how they're going to work their high school recruiting. They gotta try to do that.
Yeah.
But I think Odakali's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
He's averaged 20 over the last, I think, 3 games. He's been at 20 or more.
Burton's been playing well.
Burton's been playing well, and it looks like Horton has his legal problems are behind him now. So hopefully he can get back into the mix and really focus on the basketball side for Pitt. Duquesne lost the other day to VCU. They're 6-14.
Put them up, Dukes.
It's going to be another rough run in for them. But again, I think Keith Dambrot gets a little bit of a pass. Young team lost Maceo Austin, and we talked about this previously. Not for any disciplinary or anything like that. Just he's got a lot of family issues, and I believe they kept him on scholarship, that was a nice thing to see from Coach Dambrot. His son actually just got signed by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as well. Yeah, Robbie is a defender. Yeah, so he's going to be with the Riverhounds this year. And
Robbie Dambrot.
Yeah. And Robert Morris basketball. Again, you're going into a whole new level in the Horizon League, who, by the way, just banned UIC Sports from postseason play because they're leaving for the Missouri Valley.
I saw that.
And I think there are a lot of people who are upset, but at the same time, you know the rules. You could simply
not only do you know the rules,
don't announce
you
it
agreed to the rules when you joined the conference or when you sat in the meetings that made the rules.
Yeah,
so,
like don't announce it till afterwards.
For the players, but
it happened to Stony Brook as well. In the America East is going to the Colonial, so they are out, and I believe Hartford also, because they announced they're going to transition to D3. Is out of that tournament, but I think
Dan played for Loudoun United.
He played for DC's second team last year. Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah. He I believe he played every game for them last year,
Nice.
so he should be a decent addition to the Riverhounds, and it's nice to kind of get a Pittsburgh connection there.
Right.
I think that should be pretty cool. But also, while we're on the basketball thing, we should mention the other day that I think it was yesterday they announced this, that Jerry Conboy, who was a high school and college coach out here, he's a coach at Point Park for 20 years, passed away.
Great coach.
He won over 800 games combined and over 300 at Point Park. He was also the AD for 16 years there.
Yeah, what's sad is I got to meet Coach Conboy when I was coaching at Point Park. Coach Conboy retired in 1989. Okay, that was 33 years ago. They didn't have a gym at Point Park. 33 years later, they still don't have a gym at Point Park.
Yeah.
So, they've had some really, really good coaches that have been able to work wonders at Point Park. Bob Rager being one, Coach Conboy, Tony Grenick being one, and guys that have been able to win at these places without any facilities.
Yep.
And it's beyond time for Point Park to make a commitment to the athletes, to the athletic program, and spend some money on a facility of their own. I've advocated they partner with Carlo, the other NAIA program in Pittsburgh, and kind of put their heads together and figure out a way to make a NAIA Pittsburgh facility that both schools can use. But yeah, I mean, a really, really good coach who was able to do great things like so many other coaches at Point Park without a lot of resources. And a good Catholic man, too, from all accounts. I remember talking to him. I believe he's going to be buried out of St. Louis de Marillac. But, yeah, I mean, just...
He coached South Hills Catholic as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, South Hills Catholic, which is now Seton LaSalle. So, yeah, I mean, you have to, in today's day and age, have facilities to have really good, strong athletics. It's part of the recruitment dynamic. Kids want to see it. They want to see the bells and whistles. They want to make sure that what they're paying for is kind of like, okay, you have a gym I can go shoot in or work on, whatever other skills you want to work in. And these schools around here, we have some really good ones. They got to invest in the athletic facilities.
Yeah, they do. And you obviously were intricately involved at Point Park for a little bit there, and obviously we're still following them pretty heavily and getting more involved with them thanks to Jordan being with us last year. Yeah, it's just very. I'd imagine it'd be very difficult too, and as a player too. Like there's something about the consistency of shooting in the same gym too.
Yeah.
And now you're going from you practice in that little bandbox on campus. Now we're going to go to CCBC where the roof's 30 feet up, and it's like it's a little bit different. But I tell you, like I like the little fifth floor gym they had. I went to that one game against Bryant and Stratton. Nice little home court advantage. Unfortunately, it's not big enough to play conference games there, but I think
that's
they
what
need
really
to
makes it impressive that a player like Michelle Burns has scored 1,700 points
without a home court.
Without a home court,
yeah.
I mean, you're playing on basically a new every single day. You
don't
know
gym.
where you're going to be playing at.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic player, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I've really enjoyed watching her this year. I mean, she can light it up.
Yeah, big time player. I mean, she'd be a starting Division I guard. So.
Yeah. So listen, I think again, we should send our condolences to his family.
Yeah.
But really, one of the legends of Pittsburgh basketball.
Yeah,
and
there's been a few. I mean, Bob Rager was another one at Point Park after coach. So they've had some really, really good men's basketball coaches, and I think like I said, Tony Grenick on the women's side has been fantastic. and you want to see the local schools around here kind of flourish, and a lot of it comes down to just the small little things that everybody else is doing, and how do you get caught up with them? So,
should we take a little pause, come back,
let's do it.
Wrap up the show?
Carnegie Ironworks is Pittsburgh's go-to for artistic, unique, and decorative steel and iron designs. We provide custom fencing, interior and exterior railings, outdoor fire pits, window coverings, and much more. If you can think of it, we can fabricate it. Find us on the web at www.carnegieiron.com. That's Carnegie Ironworks, for when you need it for 500 years. Are you an athlete looking to take your game and performance to the next level? Gym Rat Performance Training is where Pittsburgh's elite competitors go to train. We specialize in personal training, strength, speed, and agility training, sports-specific training, and we offer the best basketball player development in the City of Champions. If you are ready to transform your body, expand your mind, and reach your potential, it's time to join the Rat Pack at gymratpt.com. That's GYMRATPT.com. Gym Rat Performance Training, punishing Pittsburgh since 2016 because rats don't rest. The Polish Falcons of America's new term life insurance plan is the perfect choice for young individuals and families looking to plan for tomorrow today. PFA Term Life can provide a substantial lump sum benefit in the event of a tragic loss, helping loved ones pay off a mortgage, credit cards, student loans, and cover funeral expenses. Learn more by calling 1-800-535-2071. That's 1-800-535-2071 or visiting PolishFalcons.org. Bennigan's Restaurant, located at 185 Franciscan Square in Steubenville, Ohio, is your high-energy neighborhood tavern in the Upper Ohio Valley. Their warm and inviting design puts the focus on their chef-driven food, handcrafted cocktails, and of course, the Irish hospitality which they love to serve. Bennigan's of Steubenville has a fully stocked bar and offers a wide variety of traditional American and Irish fare. Bennigan's has always been a neighborhood favorite, not just for food and drink, but as a place to meet friends, chat, and kick back for a while. Bennigan's is open from 11:30 to 10 Sunday through Wednesday and 11:30 to 11 Thursday through Saturday. Visit their website at benniganssteubenville.com and stop in the next time you're passing by campus.
And we're back here on Three Rivers Broadcasting. Alex Fidorshevsky, Andrew Krzyzewski with you. It is time to talk a little bit of high school basketball, boys and girls, to wrap up the program. You want to start on the girls' side this week? Tell us a little bit about what's hot in class, Double A and Triple A going on with your team.
I want to congratulate the two teams in our section that are now top 5 in the Trib WPIAL standings, South Park and Waynesburg, respectfully. Both are going to basically share, I would believe, the section championships unless something happens. But good year by both of them. I didn't care to run into both of them in our section this year. First year with a young team. But
next year will be a different story.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, they've both had really, really good years. I believe Knock won their first section championship this year for the first time in quite some time. It was a thing I was looking into. So. Shout out to them. And, last night I was over at Olsh, really good game between Our Lady of Sacred Heart and Shenango.
Yeah, good program.
49-44. One of our Gym Rat girls, Katie Hoff, who had a big game for them. She had 11. I think she had majority of them in the second half. So she really popped up big, and that was a big win for Olsh. But they're kind of doing good work over there. They had Neshannock kind of beat the crap out of them early on in the year, and they got them the second time. And I think they're also going to share co-share the section championship. So a lot of good basketball. Mount Lebanon's having a great season this year. I think they're 20-0 or something.
Yeah, they're undefeated. Yeah, they're
like
very, very good.
SEG. Yeah. Dory Onaker is one of the better coaches in the entire country, honestly. She coaches for Team USA Basketball, 16 and under team, so she's fantastic. And,
Char Val also always very good.
Char Valley. Well, Char Valley, has 5 Division I players, so they should be good.
No, so they only have one loss, and there's nothing wrong with losing to St. John Vianney from Jersey. I mean, they are. I know the Werner family well. Dawn's the coach there. Forget 5 D1 players. She's like, you're talking Tennessee, UConn, Notre Dame, her girls. Like, I mean, that's that's a different level when they hit them. But they've beaten everybody else in front of them and did score 2 wins in Jersey over Christmas that were really impressive. So I think they've had a great year as well. Certainly some teams out of here that can win state championships this year.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think Lebo, I think Char Valley are both teams that would be able to compete. Trinity's also really good this year. On the lower level, I shouldn't say lower level, but the
smaller
lower classifications.
Classes,
I mean, I think Sarah Catholic's having a really good year. And then, those would be, Rochester and West Green are 2 teams you never can count on either. Anna Durbin, who trains with us, just scored 1,000 points. And West Green's having a elite level year as usual. They've been the 5 straight WIPIO championships. And then you have Rochester, who's won through the past 3 WIPIO championships. And, I think those teams might face off again. The crazy thing this year is in Section 1A, what is it? Yeah, I'm looking at you. Section 1, you have Union actually beat Rochester. So they're 7-0. And having an undefeated season. Now, I think they're going to get Rochester in round 2, so that's going to be a heck of a game here. But that's turning out to be a heck of a battle.
That's the last game of the season. That'll be tomorrow night, Thursday, at Rochester.
Yeah, that will be a good one.
So, something in the water up there in the Union School District. The boys' team's also having a very, very good team. I believe the boys are.
They won the section the other day.
I have them in our. They were 17-2 coming into this week. I have them number 3 in our Class A poll on the boys' side. There's a bunch of teams that have clinched the playoffs. We could go over that at another time. Some of the boys' games that I've been to lately have been at a pretty high level. Been very impressed with it. Got to see Mars and North Hills last week. Absolutely fantastic game. It was a test that North Hills needed, and I think it was good too from an individual perspective for Royce Parham to get a test from a kid who was at his kind of athletic level. Mm-hmm. I've been to a bunch of North Hills games, and there hasn't been a big who's been able to body him up a little bit or push him around or make him extend and can shoot over him. And Chris Dvorak from Mars did that. He's a senior. I think he's going to go play D1 football. He's 6'6", 220, played very well against him, held him, I think it was 8 points or something like that, well below his average. Mars, I was very impressed with them. They're a very good team. Some big games coming up this week. We were at Seton LaSalle Aliquippa last night. Little bit different game than what we saw the first time. We had an article up. That was a barn burner and went into double overtime. Aliquippa running in a half-court set, super impressive. They were very patient, worked to get their right shots, did a great job. Some good games, coming up to end the week. On Friday, you got Fox Chapel Central Catholic. That's probably where I'm going to go. And then North Catholic plays Deer Lakes. Also, Avonworth Seton LaSalle's another nice game. Saturday, there's a couple good ones too. Alderdice North Hills, 12:30. I'm going up for that. Newcastle Lincoln Park at Geneva. That's an 8 o'clock tip. I may try to double dip. We may have to ask some permission. Maybe need to do like a lunch date on Saturday in between to pull that one off. Point Park will be home against Rio on Saturday. We don't know where yet, but that's the Point Park mantra. We'll find out probably like Thursday night. Right. But that's where I'm at for basketball as far as games for the week. As it stands right now, North Hills is number 1 in our top 10. And I've been very, very impressed with them all year. 5 college ball players. Fox Chapel impressed me against Central Catholic. We'll see if they can do it again in the second game.
I got to take Quaker Valley over Olshan, your rankings there. That's just me.
I could argue it. Yeah, I'm open to.
I might even take Canavan over Olshan, that ranking.
I'm open.
My knock on Olshan always is they don't play anybody.
And that's I put Canavan in this week because one, they thumped Greensburg, who they looked a little disjointed. Canavan just swarmed them, and Canavan has played a very difficult schedule.
Yeah, right.
They've gone and they played, I believe it was Butler. They played Fox Chapel. They're playing some good games. They played Central Catholic. I could understand why you'd want to rank Canavan over over Olsh. I could definitely see that, and you could argue the strength of schedule thing with Olsh pretty strongly. Even with the wins record, you could argue that have they taken enough tough games for the type of talent
I'll tell you
that they have?
another team that really should be knocking on the door on our top 10 would be Wash High. I saw them play the other day. I believe they're 14-1, maybe.
Yeah, now
and just really, really disciplined program. A lot of great athletes. Great coach up there has been there for years and years and years, and they just don't really make mistakes. They're not great shooters, but they know how to get in the lane. They know how to distribute the ball when guys come over and help and make layups, and they press really hard, and just a really good, well-coached team. And I think they're going to make some noise this year in the WPIAL playoffs, without a doubt.
Well, I think we'll know by next week's rankings, because I believe North Catholic will play Canavan before the kind of the next rankings come out. And then, the loser of that game could be out, and that could be Wash High's spot, because I will be I'll move Wash High up after Seton lost. And then, Aliquippa's got to be in that mix now too for me. I was very impressed with them. They were a little shaky at the beginning of the year. They are rock solid right now. They beat Lincoln Park by 15. So, very impressed. Kudos to the Quips for playing some very good basketball.
Wash High is 13-1 in 3A and 10-0 in the conference.
Yep. So I figure, listen, McGuffey, Monessen, Gallatin, they'll probably run this out the rest of the way. The Monessen game could be a little interesting, because I believe Monessen has won their section and are 15-4. Monessen's always a tough team. But that's kind of where I'm at for boys basketball. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think we're going to get some really good matchups, especially as we get a little later on, once you get past the first round.
I want to know how we can get some press credentials for the WPIAL playoffs. That's what I'm going to have to do some digging here.
Oh, for the not the individual games, but for the finals.
Yeah, for the finals.
Yeah, I'll have to email the guy. Okay. I have his contact. That's how we got the football stuff. So
yeah, that'll be good. I think it would be good to have some Three Rivers Broadcasting in the house for some of those games.
I intend to try to be there for the whole thing for boys and girls.
I did last couple of years, and I think I'm going to pat us on the back. We're getting a lot of really nice praise from both individual programs as well as coaches and parents.
Yep,
really enjoying the coverage. And that's something that we're working on, being at games and giving people articles or in-game tweets about what's going on. And then, hopefully in the next couple of years here, our goal is also to cover the games with some video content. I know you're heading
live
out
broadcasts.
I know you're heading out to Franciscan tonight to get a little bit of content. So, if your school or your league is interested in what we can do for you, contact us. We were able to do a lot.
Yeah, we can. We may be young, but we've got experience, and we've got talent, and we've got a little depth on the bench that we can turn to. Got a nice email from some of the Mars parents after the last game. We were like, you guys are doing better work than some of the big boys, in our opinion. So that was very nice to hear that we're getting recognized. And I think the voting's almost done, but we were nominated for Business of the Year here. Hopefully we'll fingers crossed pull that one off. That'd be very very impressive in year one. So great show. I want to say thank you for coming in. We should thank our fine sponsors, Report It, Quick Trip IV for working with us last year. Those guys always do such a great job down there. I see them; they're taking it on the road now too. You go on the IG, they're like going to people's offices and like, we'll give you some vitamin B at lunch. So I like that. Mother Mercy Academy, Paul down the hall, of course, at Lawrence Repair, Gym Rat Performance Training, Carnegie Ironworks, Franciscan University. That's right, passionately Catholic, and check out Grip Spritz as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
we got to get with them.
Yeah, I want to get some. I keep telling you, we want to get some salesman samples. Get out. It's a great product. We used it all year at McGuffey. Kids loved it. Referees loved it. It really helps you stick to the floor. So yeah,
that was a problem last night in Aliquippa.
I believe
the kids were sliding all over the place. Yeah, because there was bodies flying. There was sweat on the
people
floor.
Were bringing in water off the outside
the gym. It's still snowy. Yeah. So I think it would be a great product. I think schools should take a look at it and make sure you visit their website and visit our website, threeriversbroadcasting.com. If you are interested in being a sponsor, reach out to Coach Krzyzewski or myself, whether it's via Twitter or via email.
Pizza places. We want pizza places.
Pizza.
Yeah.
We want pizza. We love to have a sports bar to host the program in every week and do that after basketball season. We can go live.
Yeah, it's on that front. We are looking for somebody to do some soccer work with us as we approach soccer season in the fall. We have a couple of cool ideas. We're kind of looking for some of those old school pubs that we could host a show at. If you love soccer, if you love, kind of that European feel of, Irish bar or a, Italian sports bar.
Reach out.
Reach out. We have some cool things we're working on. So get a hold of us, and we will do the show at your bar. We have that capability.
If you open up for the Premier League on Saturday and Sunday at 8 in the morning, and there's bars that do it, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you because we can come and we can do all the soccer stuff out there at your pub, and we'd love to have you be a sponsor for our coverage of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as well. So, great show, Andrew. Want to say thank you again for coming in, taking time out of your busy day, and I'll give you the final word, and then we'll wrap it on up.
Yeah, just excited for the Super Bowl.
Yep, looking forward to it.
I'm gonna go Rams 28. Bengals 24.
I like that. I'm going to go 30-27.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Are we going to leave it there?
We'll leave it there. We'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, Alex and I are completely wrong, and it's like 52-28 or something like that. But we'll see you next time on the Three Rivers Broadcasting Sports Report.
Welcome back to the Polka Celebration Radio Show. I'm your host, Alex Vidrich.